Hey guys, welcome to Moreniké Speaks. This video, if you haven't already watched, the first video is a continuation from the last episode called The Gator Who Loved the Potato. I couldn't edit everything into one video, it was way too long, so I'm just breaking it up. So please make sure that you watch that first video before you proceed to watching this video because I just don't want you to miss anything, and I want you to have the full story of everything that happened. Um, this particular episode is about my situation or my experience with two different women who I feel like played a part in a lot of the different things that I navigate through in my brain when it comes to relationships and, navigating myself through this industry and like just becoming an artist and different things like that. So either way, I suggest you please watch part one of this video, and then after that, feel free to enjoy this next part. And I want to say thank you to everybody who is willing to listen to me and hear me talk and rant. Like, I know, it's just me talking. So hopefully I'm not I don't sound like monotone or anything, and you're actually able to truly engage in what I'm saying in the story. But yeah, because I'm not doing all them edits that some of the content creators be doing with the sound effects and shit like that. We're not doing all that. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, but thank you again for coming to my channel. This is Moreniké Speaks, where I talk about my life experiences and my relationships with people and just different topics such as mental health and different things like that. If you haven't watched any other episodes prior to this video, please watch them so you can get acquainted with my channel and everything I talk about on this channel. And subscribe and make sure you like and comment. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And thank you again for being a supporter of me and watching Moreniké Speaks. Enjoy part two of this video. Sorry, I'm really cute though. Look. So basically, yeah, that was that night in the car, and I felt weird, So at this point, I'm now in a space of I'm reacting to her energy because we don't really feel connected like friends. It's like we shared a moment in the car before when I told her and I cried to her like I don't want this for us and da da dee and da da do. Oh, Okay, hold on, because I just seen a moth. It's because I got these fucking lights on and not my window open. Trying to get to the lights. I have to slap these bitches. But yeah, so that was the moment, and I just thought that she was throwing shade. And I thought she was because she was saying some weird shit, but I can't remember. And honestly, this moment just came up. It wasn't as prominent as all the other times. Okay, so that was that. Okay, so then fast forward, we ended up parting ways because we had to figure some shit out. We couldn't stay in those hotels. We couldn't, afford the hotels anymore. So then it's like spring, summer, 2017. Me and Sism had moved into. Sorry, me and Music. I said his name. Me and Music basically moved into an extended stay because we were still going through the whole situation of like being homeless and just trying to get shit together. You feel me? And when I was there, we went to Macon, Georgia to go visit my friend Jasmine. And during that time, my car got hit basically, but everything happens for a reason. Like God truly guided us in all aspects. And because from my car getting hit, I was able to take the money that I got to fix my car. And also I was able to basically put a down payment on our first apartment. So, basically, we got an apartment that was off of Candler Road in Decatur. It was off of Misty Rivers Drive or some shit like that. It was my first apartment. It was just, I loved it so freaking much. It was a 2-bedroom, and we were just going to plan to live there by ourselves and start building our lives and da 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 da. At the time, also my brother and music, they worked together, so they were both working at this place or whatever. And I think brother still was dating old girl, so they were still going through the situation. Like, I think old girl, she was living with her best friend, and she wanted to just be with her nigga. So like, we allowed them to come and live with us. And the first few months were free because we had paid up until that time. So we didn't ask them to pay anything. We didn't require them to pay anything, which was the first mistake, because like, obviously if they would have paid, it wouldn't have gone in the way that it did. But we didn't require them to pay anything because we also were family. Like, we know what's good, you feel me? So it's like, it shouldn't have been a problem. Ooh, are you okay, Stan? You're shaking a little bit. Where's my cat? Baby, you okay? He's knocked out. Okay, so basically, we were there. Okay, because a lot of shit happened. Basically, like a lot of shit happened. Um, and we basically allowed them to stay there. Okay, we allowed them to come to the house and live in that apartment with us. And I'm just gonna speak on everything that I remember, because it may not be in order, but I'm just going to speak on everything that happened there, because, this was also like just a lot. Um, so first incident, right? And I'm telling these stories so that you can understand what I went through and why I reacted the way that I did and how things transpired. That's why I'm expressing this. I'm trying to be as detailed as possible without taking 1,000 years to express things, and hopefully you guys are still following with me, and allowing me to just express. Play this freaking while you're doing dishes or some shit, or when you're doing some work. Like, just have me talking in the background. You dig? So Potato basically had a birthday party. Um, so she had a birthday party, and I remember her sending me her invite on Twitter. And at this point, like, we still lived with each other, so I don't know. So yes, we were living with each other, and she had this birthday party. And I remember coming to the birthday party, and also, mind you, we're both still in our toxic ass relationships. It's not like everything's good, like, constant fighting. The whole energy of the house was like toxic, because it was fighting between them two. It was fighting between me, and then we would be cool and things will happen. There was one night, I don't know if this happened before her birthday, but there was this one night where she had a photo shoot in Piedmont Park. And so I drove her there. I would drive her to all of her, like, she had this rehearsal that was like an hour away. She was in a play or some shit. I drove her to her rehearsal, and then she did give me like some gas money this one time. And I was very thankful for the gas money, because at this point we were like really broke, like genuinely broke. You feel me? And so, like, which was also, but she was broke too. It was more so like she would, I guess, would have money from like people who send her money and like her parents and things like that. But we didn't have that type of help at that time until afterwards. IDK, that doesn't really matter. Okay. But remember driving her out to this rehearsal thing several times, and then one of the times she did give me like gas money. And so, basically it was her birthday party or something. And I remember coming to the event, and when we got to the event, her grandmother like pulled me aside. She pulled me aside, and she was talking to me about like life, and was like, you may not always be with this person, like, she just was giving me some gems, like, and it was just so random. It was like so random, like, why is the grandma talking to me about, like, you know what I mean? Like, everything was just so intense, like, during those times too. But she was like basically talking to me about life, and She also was talking to me about how, like, she's like, you're not supposed to have no food in your fridge, because we didn't have any food in our fridge. Like, we were broke. I remember we were broke. So I guess maybe Potato was like telling her grandma, like, oh, there's no food. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if she was like, we're at the end of the day though, girl, we're both adults. Like, you know, if it's no food, it's not like we can call Grams and be like, well, maybe you can, but like, you know, can you provide us with food? You feel me? Like, so I don't know what conversation they had prior to that, but the grandma was talking to us and she was telling me about how, you know, you might not always be in this relationship, and just, it was just a lot. And I just remember walking to the party with my head on grandma's shoulder and she was holding me. Both of our heads were in each other. And I just remember that moment too. I also remember talking to, there was an aunt there who I think was food, and then like I just kept like looking into her eyes, because I just like, I think, because at the end of the day, even though we would go to the events and we would go to these places, I was still very much broken inside because of like, you know, all the different experiences that we were experiencing, like just being broken, and then the toxicity between me and my boyfriend at the time. It was just crazy toxic, you know, and all of us, you know, we had really good times, but it was also like a lot of just turmoil, you feel me? And so, you know, that was at the event, that was fine, you know, and like cool. And it's so crazy because I remember the DJ played Walk It Out, and I wanted to dance so bad because I'm really good at not doing the Walk It Out. That's so crazy. Like, oh my God, that's so funny. Just that term, saying doing the Walk It Out, is so crazy. But like, I was really good at that dance when I used to do it, and I just didn't do it. And I felt like the universe was like trying to get me to be more, show my personality more into the because it was all of the people that was in DeKalb, like all of the DeKalb scene was at her party, you feel me? And like, it was out of all songs that could have been played, you feel me? It was just so, but that's why I say this is me and my universe experiencing this and perceiving it in this manner, you feel me? Because like, it was just so crazy, like out of all songs. Now this is 2017, you dig? Like, it's not like back in the day, it's not 2000s, you feel me? So it's like, there could have been so many different songs that could have been played, but like that specific song, when I used to, like, when I was younger, when that song first came out, I used to kill that shit. People used to like circle around me as I would do the out. Oh my God. Like, just imagine me doing it right now. That's so funny. But they literally would. Okay, so it was part of me. I think the universe was trying to get me to show my personality more and be more present with my energy, but I was awkward as hell just looking at the artwork. You feel me? And then we did take this fucking picture. We took this picture, me and her other friends. Like, she has this posse of friends that they've always been friends, and da da dee and da da do. I was in the picture, okay? We all took this picture together. And so that was that. And then later that night, we were going to like a restaurant. We stopped at a house, like this minor kickback or some shit. And then this is where things are weird because, and I don't know if this is in the incorrect order, but it was like so weird because like, even though there were like a lot of weird moments between us to where I felt like she was very mean girlish and like bitchy, and I would react to that energy by like not engaging as much or whatever, you know, there were also parts where like I would feel like she was flirting with me, and like, you know, I was obviously attracted to her. I mean, she's fucking, you feel me? Like, but yeah, so like, you know, I just remember this one time. I know I'm like jumping these, but just try to stay with me. But like, because I'm trying to remember everything as well. But there was this one time where we were about to go to this event. Oh yeah, actually, these two performances. I think that's later. I don't know. But then she did these one night. We went with her to two performances at two different venues, two different events, and you know, that before we left that night, I was like looking at my outfit, and she was like she was showing me this girl apparently that was attracted to her, like, but it just felt very like, I'm trying to let you know that I like girls type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But also like, it felt very like like, you know, like a beginner's gay. Like, she felt very like, I don't know, like if she, you know what I mean? Like, she's always given straight to me, you feel me? I had never even thought remotely that there was even an ounce of like queerness within her at this time of me knowing her. And it's so crazy because she's super queer and like queer advocate now and shit like that, but like at this time I didn't. But there was like little moments of that I felt like she may have been flirting, but I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything was just so weird in those times, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, that's why I say it's like crazy, because I felt a lot of mean girl energy, but it's like, were you low-key attracted to me too? But you just, were you upset because maybe you felt like other people attracted to me. Like, I don't know. But anyway, back at the fast forward at the party. Okay, we're at this house or some shit. We're at this house like in between us going to another party or like dinner or some shit. And so basically like I have to go in the bathroom. I don't know how the fuck we got in the bathroom together though. Okay, I don't remember how we got in the bathroom together. Because I know I had to use the bathroom and she was in the bathroom too. I don't even remember what the fuck happened, but like we ended up being in the bathroom together. And we were in the bathroom, she was looking in the mirror. She's drunk at this point. She's fucking drunk, okay. And I'm not drunk. I'm like aware. I'm very like I'm not. I think I was kind of low key sober. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was kind of like low key sober because at this point, I'm very lightweight. I cannot drink any liquor without chaser. Like I don't like I used to because I fucked my shit up, and that's why I can't drink alcohol anymore without a chaser because I fucked my shit up. Okay, so I was basically there in the bathroom with her, and then in the bathroom she was talking to me about because apparently forgot to fucking mention. So there was one day that like and us living in the thing, mind you, we were in my apartment for maybe like 3 months, so like we lived some life there. So I think one night Potato did my eyebrows. And so that's why it's so weird because like a lot of different energies that I experienced from her, it just didn't match up to like certain other parts. That's why I'm just like, what the fuck, you feel me? But maybe you guys can have some feedback or whatever. But there's one part she did my eyebrows or whatever, and I remember taking pictures in the bathroom and then I posted them to Instagram. And so then one of my ex best friend, she was my best friend, you know what I'm saying? She commented on my picture like, ew, how do you know Potato? But she said her name. Like, she said, ew, how do you know her? And I was like, no, we're all friends. Like I said this, and I can show this too. Like, well, I don't think I'm gonna do that though. I'm not gonna do that shit. But I still have these screenshots basically. But like, I replied back to her. I'm like, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what your beef is with her. Da 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 da. Blah blah blah. And apparently, they both dated the same guy. And I don't know. I guess they had some type of beef, which I never even knew. And that's another thing. My universe. You feel me? Like now, this goes back into like me think like we're all connected in a way. Like, can you imagine like? And me and Kitty, we weren't cool. It's not like we weren't cool, but we were not our best friends since like college days. This is 2017. That's like, 3 or 4 years later from us being in that space that we were. You dig? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I never even knew that they even knew each other, yet alone had actual beef. You feel me? So I said, no, Kitty, we're not doing that. Da da da. Like da blah blah blah. And so fast forward back to the moment in the bathroom. Potato's like, I don't know why she doesn't like me. Like I feel like we would be friends. Like she was drunk talking about that situation. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm sure that it's just, I don't know. Like I think I said some shit to just calm her in her, like not make her feel like she was wrong or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at this point, this is when I remember like I was really attracted to her because I was just like looking at her like, bro, like. Mind you, we're both in a relationship though, but like if I could kiss you right now, like I would fucking kiss you right now. Like she was so fine to me. And I just remember looking at her while she was talking and then she squinted her eyes. She squinted her eyes. Now, yeah, she squinted her eyes and then she was like, she told me that she loved me. And girl, you're drunk right now. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it could have just been like a friend, but it just didn't feel that way. Okay. So, cause she squinted her eyes and was like, that little look that you give, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think about like what was said prior. I don't know if she just said, I just remember her telling me that she loves me, but I can't remember if there was something that she said right before that. Like, I feel like she just said that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't say anything back because she's drunk or whatever. And then she was like, she asked me, this is when I wanted to kiss her so fucking bad. I remember we were about to leave the door, and we were looking at each other, and um she was like, should I leave this in or leave it out? She had tied her shirt. It was a knot, and she was asking me if she should tuck it in or she should leave it out. And I think I said leave it out because it looked cuter that way. But mind you, she's drunk, so I'm like just chilling. You feel me? It was just whatever. So that moment happened. Okay, that moment happened, and so then like the night happens. We go to dinner. You know, her friend was being real cute and funny, and also I meant to. I feel really bad. Really quick insert because I don't know whoever this touches or whoever this reaches, but like, you know, there was a time where the friend, she said that she could do like she could put on lipstick or something with her boobs or something. Like I don't know, she did some creative thing with like her boobs. Like she could do something with her boobs. And like the type of person I am, I like would be super like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, you know what I mean? But I was so in a space of like social anxiety and like I was so reserved, and I hate that for me. Like a lot of those people missed out on how fun I really am and like my true personality because I wasn't showcasing myself based on the fear of being perceived. You know what I mean? Like when she did that, I was like, oh my god, I was like, that's cool. Like I was so ill. I was just so ugly and like just so cool. Like it's just disgusting when I think back and reflect on that shit. You know, it's just like yuckers. Like gross. You feel me? Like I should have been like, teach me right there on the table. You feel me? Like, how do I do it? Teach me. And I was just being like, you know, I just like, and so from that, I feel like she felt awkward because her friend was like, oh my gosh, girl, like made her feel awkward based off me being so cool, you know. And so that how things, you know, how things transpire. Like it's just fucking, it's just dumb. It was just a dub. You feel me? So anyway, you know, we had that night, and so we're back at the house, and like a whole bunch of different shit happened. You know, it was a toxic environment. You know, it was a constant fighting between both of us, and I think there was a lot of energy transference. Like there was one time where me and they had this huge fucking fight, also like it was crazy because, you know, like I remember this one fight that they had, and like he was getting kind of like physical with her. You know, like brother was getting kind of physical with Potato, and I like her busting out the door and like just being there, like just ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, this is my brother. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, you're not about to touch her. You feel me? Like I was very protective over her. You know what I'm saying? And I remember it was this huge crazy fight that they had. Like they was moving back and forth to the bathroom and shit like that. And she was like, why would you? She was like, don't fucking close the door. Don't fucking close the door. Why would you close the door? Da, da, da. And you know, because I was standing right side out the door, like, yo, like if anything really pops off, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? But me and what's the name used to be toxic and like that, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of negative energy. We're broke, we were all trying to figure it out. You know, my boyfriend at the time was very, you know, he was going through a lot of different things even as a man with his work, and how brother probably made him feel at the job, and how it was just so much toxic energy that was being transferred all the time. And so we kind of as the women felt that shit, you know what I'm saying? And so that night happened, and then I remember then they left, and when they came back, me and music, my boyfriend was just like at odds. You feel me? Like we just were at odds, and it was just, yeah. So it was just a lot. So yeah. So and then there's this other night. There's this other day where we like basically me. I would drop off the boys that worked together. You know, they lived like the work was only like 10 minutes away, but with the traffic, it used to take 45 minutes. In the morning, I would drop them off and come pick them up around 5 o'clock every single day. And so one morning, when we came back, we were like, let's get food or whatever. And so we went to this place across the street or some shit, and we were waiting for food. And I remember basically she was talking about like this artist. And at the time, the artist was Asian Doll. And she was like, I just don't understand why this person is popping the way she is. Da-da-da. Like she doesn't make, like she's not this and she's not that. And I'm like, and I remember saying, I mean, you don't know her journey, you don't know where she's at, da da da. You feel me? Like I was trying to like give reason to like not feel the way that you're feeling, or like kind of chastise the girl, you feel me? And I think from that also, like, because when you're with a friend, you want to have that space to kiki with somebody and be like, or have somebody like support what you're saying. But I'm very real. That's one thing that and I feel like that's also been another reason that has hindered me with female connections, because sometimes your female friend wants to be able to talk shit, you feel me? And like me, like I can talk shit too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I don't talk shit, come on. But I'm gonna be real, like at the end of the day, like, you don't know what she's been like. Why would you consider her? You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that made her feel like, this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, whatever, girl. You know what I mean? So I think that also put another thing. So I'm telling you all these things so you can kind of understand the experiences that we had with one another. Okay. Um, and then there was another time where she was telling me about how she felt like Kaylani had copied her. And she literally made a whole post about this. And I don't know if anybody remembers this, but she made a whole post about it. And because she had this denim outfit on and like with the gold chain, and she thought Kaylani copied her. Literally, she made a whole post about it. She was like, and she called her little girl and everything like that. And she's like, and she knows who I am too. She knows who I am. Mind you, Potato have been having motion. You know what I'm saying? She's moving around. Well, I don't know if my titties is out. So yeah, she Potato has motion, so she's been in the city. She's been doing, performances and stuff like that. So she was telling me about how Kaylani copied her, and that's how she felt that she copied her. And she told me, like, and she knows about me too. Like, she told me about the time where she went to a party, and her friend Rory, which also like 2015, he went big, you know what I'm saying? He had that God's Whisper and went crazy, you feel me? So he got signed, I think, and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? He was the first person of the DeKalb people to like reach that type of status. I'm not gonna say the first person, but like out of the peers that we all knew, there's definitely a tiny little moth I just seen. Try to reach that goal or whatever. And so, she told me about how they went to a party, and she remembers him telling her that Kaylani mentioned her name. So she was like, she knows about me, da 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 da, like she copied me, blah 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 blah. So I'm just like, okay. Then she tells me about her friend at the time, her I'm gonna call her Bossy. Her Bossy was her stylist initially. And I remember she talking about Bossy, saying like Bossy's copying her because she's doing the rainbow hair. And like she did, so I guess Bossy put a post with rainbow hair, and she was like, she's copying me, because rainbow was her whole world. Like, it was her whole aesthetic, her whole thing. One of her first projects was like Roy G Biv, which was all the colors of the rainbow. And she just, rainbow was her theme or whatever. And so she thought that her friend Bossy was copying her. And they also had they actually had a heart to heart during the time we lived at the hotel, and I think things became better. But this is after that, at the hotel, at my apartment is what she's telling me about Bossy copying her. And so then I remember literally being with her as she's talking, and I seen Bossy's page, she showed me who Bossy was, and I went all the way down, and I seen that Bossy had colored hair, like rainbow hair, back in 2011 or some shit, you know what I'm saying? I showed her, and I just remember that moment was really funny to me, because I was like, well, what is this? And she was like, well, at least just did it. It was just so funny, because sometimes I take myself outside of self, and I'm like looking at the woman as the woman. I'm like, girl, like, it's just funny. It was just funny to me, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like she really had nothing to say, because like low key that shit was back there. She was like, well, at least it looks better than da-da-da. Like, I'm like, okay, girl, like, whatever. Also, I remember she telling me this story. Um, so one time we went out. One time, I think brother was somewhere, and like I woke up, and Potato had wrapped her head in a hair wrap. And a lot of times back in those days, I used to have the little braids or whatever. So I used to put my head up in a ponytail and wrap it with a scarf, like a African kind of style. And she had that, wrap. And and we basically, she went to enjoy the day with us, or she just came with us or whatever. And during that day, I remember she telling me about how she fell in love with the big tall creeper shoes, and how Bossy had gave them to her and then randomly had took them back. Okay. And I'm telling you this because I remember there was one night in the house, I was like, I think this was before her birthday. Like, I told her if I had the ability to get you those shoes, I would get those for you. I wanted to get her those shoes so much, like I just wanted to, give her a beautiful birthday gift or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But, we were broke. So that just never happened. Okay, so that was that. Then there was another night where we stayed up late. The boys literally went to fucking sleep. We stayed up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and she was showing me her old mixtapes and old projects that she did that she never put out. One was called Words with Her Name. Which was really dope. Like she would have all these names, all these things, all these song titles that had words with her name in it. Imitate, concentrate, or gravitate. I don't know, like just some shit, that had the, whatever. So, we stayed up all night, and she told me about her college experience, and she told me about how this one guy embarrassed her when she went to Georgia State College, and just all these different stories. And we stayed up late all night talking about it, and I was listening to her all her music and shit like that, and it just felt. But then at one point in the night, I guess I never had asked her age, but like I was asking her age, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're my sister's age, because she's 3 years younger than me. I was like, yo, you're my sister's age. And she was like, I was like, just acknowledging that. But she was like, yep, I'm young. And she was like doing this weird movement and this look with me. It was just, I don't know if I was high, but it just looked so weird. Like, it was almost like she was like, yeah, like I'm young and you're old, or because I don't want to say it like that, because as I'm saying it sounds like me projecting that, but she genuinely was doing some weird ass movement. Like, it was very, very weird. Like, I don't want to, like, even though yes, things could be seen as a projection, and I'll take that, it was just also very weird. Like, she was doing this movement, like she was like I don't know, like I don't know. You have to be around like a person who's like trying to, like, being a mean girl. Like, it was just weird. It was just very weird. And I can't describe that as much. But based off of, remember I told you our relationship was so fickle, because we would stay up all night having these moments, but then in front of the boys it'll be something different, or it'll be a weird ass energy. You know what I'm saying? Just weird ass energy. So, okay, yeah. So, yeah, so there. Remember, I told you about the night that we had, okay? And so both performances that she had, the night that we had where we went to go watch both of their performances, both performances that she had, there was some issues with the technical difficulties. Technical difficulty. I fucking can't speak. It was some issues with the tech, okay? Issues with the tech. And so in my universe, I was perceiving that as a learning thing for me to learn from her and like see how she navigated through the crowd with that situation. But I feel like parts of her felt like, you know, the fact that she brought Moreniké along is why. But this could be also be a projection, because this was never told to me. You know what I mean? But I think that this started to, you know, these things start to develop based off of what I would experience from her. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like she thought that because she brought me, you know what I'm saying, my hating ass energy is the reason why her shit was messed up. And like I was in a completely different perspective. I was trying to learn from each moment, like see how she captured the crowd and all that, you know. So that's something that happened. And so, like I said, remember, there's a lot of different weird shit that happened. And there was one time, like during the day, where the boys were at work and I was just at home, and I was kikiing with my sister on the phone. And at this point, we were like discrediting wigs, like, which is weird because obviously I'm wearing a wig now. Like, but I think at the time, I we were just joking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I never used to really wear wigs before. I always used to wear like braids and like, you know, do different things, whatever. But we were talking about wigs or some shit, which is dumb. And she literally was headed out somewhere, and right before she left, I remember her knocking on the door, and she was like, I'm about to leave, see you later. And she like gave me this look, like it was like this look like meant to leave, like, I don't, it was just so weird. And I don't know if she thought that I was talking about her because I was naming wigs. Because, yeah, she made this post the same day, and it was like, it was this thorough message about how she wears wigs, and I wear wigs because it grows my hair, and I'm like, it was just weird, because it's like, that's what I'm saying, this is what a lot of things what females do, we don't talk about shit. Because if she would have been like, are you good? Like, do you feel the type of way? Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have corrected that. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was just weird. You know, people, us females, we just are fucking weird. We're just so fucking weird. And I remember there was a moment, I think I told her, this is when everything shifted for me, because I was like, yo, now you're moving in this space and I realize who you are. Because I was like, I think I told her one night, like, oh, I miss you. Da, 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 da. And then she texted me and she told me, she was like, you'll see me soon. I'll see you soon. Meaning you don't miss me back? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. You know, at the end of the day, I have to acknowledge that. Like, if that's what she felt, then that's what she felt. But it just was like, ew. Okay, can you imagine you telling somebody that you miss them? You feel me? And then they're like, you'll see me soon. Like, that's crazy to me. And so that's when I realized, like, okay, we're not really friends. You know, I don't know. We're just really not friends. I don't know what it is that we are, because, you know, sometimes you flirt with me, other times you're being weird. I don't fucking know, but like, that was it. And yeah. So, you know, that was a weird time. So then there's this one night where we all were in the living room. I think me, brother, music, and Potato. We were all in the living room, and Potato was crying basically because she was talking about how she felt like she messed up her voice by smoking weed. And I would tell her, like, I just was like, not condoning. I mean, and maybe I didn't allow the space for her to be sad, you know, because I was like, well, I mean, obviously I allowed her because she was crying. I think I was just like, but I kept telling her that's not it. Like, your voice is you are so talented. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna reach so many different heights in your career and stuff like that. But she was giving herself like this like pity place, and like, oh, I'm never gonna be where I want to be because my voice. Look at her now. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's so crazy. It's, look at her now. Like, she literally makes, her whole income is from her artistry, which is so crazy, because we're during these times before I even got to that point. She literally was doubtful of her own talent, of her voice, and I wouldn't let her have that. You feel me? I just wouldn't let her have it, because like, but also, I'm not gonna lie, the crying felt like it was like, I don't know, but at the time, maybe she was really crying, but I don't know. She also has taken a lot of acting classes, is what I can say, you know what I'm saying? But she was really crying about that. So that was one time. And I'm just telling all the different experiences that happened us living each other, okay? So there was this one time where the boys were out, and basically I had this poem book that I had from age 7 to college, and I used to read my poem book, like, and like write in my poem book all the fucking time, okay? And so, you know, one day I was like reading her some of my poems, and I just remember her looking at me like, basically like, wow. Like, she was like, wow, okay. Like, she was like, those low key sound like raps, but like, you could tell like she was off put it by it. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to act her out, but I remember this moment specifically. Like, a lot of these moments I remember specifically. I was sitting fucking crisscross, and she was sitting across from me. We were sitting on the floor. I didn't have any what's the furniture, you feel me? We only had like this one couch, and I didn't have any furniture, so we were sitting on the floor, and I was reading to her. She was like, wow, okay. She was like, that kind of sounds like raps. And I was like, I didn't, at this point I was just so even aloof to the idea of creating as a source of income, or actually creating in that aspect. Like, I used to just write poems, and then, but it's crazy because back in the day, you know, when I would read my poems to my ex-girlfriend and my other ex-girlfriend, because we were all friends, like, they would literally tell me like they sounded like raps, but I never peeped that shit, you know. But she told me that, and it was just really weird because like then she was like, she said something in relating to her. She was like, I really do this. Like, I really do this. Like, this is what I really do. Like, referring to her career, her talent, and like her pursuing music. And she was like, I really do this. Like, and it was almost as if it was her way of like trying to let me know, like, girl, like, don't even try to start. Because I'd be more competition for her. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I say it's like Hungry 8 wasn't a humble 8. You feel me? I'm just saying, like, she was not like, if somebody was my friend, I feel like they would have been like, what the fuck, bitch? How you? I know you had that in you. Da-da-da. If I was reading her poem, da-da-da, she was like, okay, wow. She was like, it was like she was going over her mind, like, damn, this girl actually can rap, like, but she don't even know she can rap, type shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like she was gatekeeping the reality of me to me, and I've actually experienced this with my friends before. You feel me? Like, and that's why I am who I am. That's why I have a lot of insecurities and things like that, because my friends didn't give me the flowers that I deserve. Like, it was like, it was always some type of shit. Everybody trying to sun me, and like, because I was so sweet and like, yay, friends, and like everything, and like I'm like very childlike and like very like, so people took advantage of that, and anyway. So, she basically like, she was like, I really do this. And like, I just remember her eyes. I will never forget her eyes when she was like, I really do this. Like, don't even try it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't remember what I even said from that moment. I just remember her saying, I really do this. Okay. So then there was this next D. Next D? What? There's this next day. Okay. And, basically there was a day where she had some friends coming over. Her and brother had some friends coming over, and I can say their names because it doesn't really matter, but Coley Xavier was one of the guys, and then her name was, I think, Armani or whatever. Armani or some shit, this light skinned girl, you know what I'm saying? So, and then there was this other person. I cannot remember who the other person was, but I remember being outside because I used to play with the kids. I used to, in the neighborhood, I used to come out and bring paint outside and literally paint with all the kids outside. And like, I literally used to do that shit. Like I was Mother Teresa. It was crazy. And we would all paint and shit. So one of the nights I remember I seen, because in my area, you could see people actually, you could see them. You could see where my house was, my balcony. So I remember seeing people walk up to my house, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I go up there. I'm like, give me 1 second. I'm like, hi, how are you? Like, give me a second. You know what I'm saying? I go in the house. I'm like, yo, did y'all invite people over? Da, da, da. And I felt like that was also kind of like, why didn't you tell me that people were coming to our house? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, but I don't know. They're young. I don't know. We're, whatever. So it was just crazy. Like, so then they come, and they come basically, and fast forward, we're all like sitting down, there's this beat playing, we're all like chilling and vibing, whatever. There's this beat playing, and I start singing this, I have this like melodic tone, but it's like a slower tone. And then Coley Xavier and Potato, they start like rapping a little faster. You know what I'm saying? So then I came to an acknowledgement. I was like, wow, that's so cool that you guys, you hear a faster cadence and I hear a slower cadence. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the time I didn't say cadence because I never knew what that word. I said something like flow. I think I said flow. Okay. And then Potato was like, yeah, that's because we're artists. We're real musicians, or we're real musicians. That's what she said. She's like, because we're musicians. Like, she kept basically sunning me every moment that she could, like, you're not a part of this. You're not a part of me. You're not a part of this. You're not a part of talent, like, and that's what I took from it. Maybe that was a projection, but that's what I took from that energy. Imagine being in that moment where you're so naive to like this even being a reality, and she literally was like, she physically said, yeah, that's because we're real musicians. And then Coley literally looked at her like, bro, what? Like, why would you say that type shit? And then she switched up and was like, it's because we're artists or something. You know what I mean? Like, she tried to like, and nobody laughed or snickered or anything like that. But you could tell, like, I don't know. It was just a weird fucking moment. It was a weird fucking moment. And I was yet again in that space. Okay. And it was just almost like she was just downplaying like my essence of creative ability. Basically because she had the musical knowledge and credentials. Okay. So I think the same night, I have to pee. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Ah! Okay, so basically, that same night, okay, or I think it was the next night. I don't know, but it was like after that time, her and colleague Xavier and Armani, after that whole musician shit, and like we're really musicians, like just trying to basically sun me essentially, um after that it was like another night or whatever where so I go pick up the boys from work, and I'm wearing like all day I had on like this denim outfit, and this is when I was like really skinny too, so it was just everything was just really cute on me. It was like this denim outfit, like I had on this really baggy jeans, and then this cropped denim shirt, this denim choker, and this denim jacket, and my hair was like I think in like braids or some shit. I'm was so fucking cute. I am that, period. But so it was just this denim outfit or whatever. So we go pick up the boys, and then when we got home, like when you have to walk up to our apartment, like to the stairs, whatever. They had walked up to the stairs, but I was the only one who had the key. So brother whispered to Potato, and he was like, yo, I really love Rennie's outfit. That's what my family calls me, Rennie. Like anybody close to me calls me Rennie. I'm Moreniké, but they call me Rennie. So he was like, yo, I really love Rennie's outfit. And then he shouts down to me and tells me, he was like, yo, I love your outfit, Rennie. You look so cute, or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he would say you look so cute. Like, he just really liked my outfit. I'm not gonna say he said that because I feel like I can't hear him say you look so cute. But he said how he liked my outfit or whatever. And so then that night, basically, they said that one of our other mutual friends, his name was Trip, was having an event. So basically I'm getting ready. I'm like touching myself up, but then me and Potato are both in my guest bathroom, because we had our own bathroom. We are both in the guest bathroom, and I'm like, yo, I low-key don't feel like changing. Like, I felt so comfortable in my outfit. I'm like, I really don't feel like changing. She was like, honestly, you really don't have to. And I was like, you right? You sure? Like, I don't think I have to change it. And she was like, yeah, no, you're good. You don't have to change or whatever. So then, like, she's like, I need to go and get some clothes from my best friend's house, because remember, she lived at her best friend's house, but she lived with us, but she still has some stuff over there. So I guess I don't know how she went, because I didn't take her, but she went to go to her best friend's house, and I was still in my outfit. And when they came back, we were gonna head out to go to Tripp's event or his party, whatever. Then she comes back, and she's basically like wearing, like similar, like she's had like a denim, like a low-key a denim outfit on too, but it wasn't like it was a denim outfit, but it was like blues or something like that. I don't know, but it was like low-key the same. But I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't even think about it until she brought attention to it. So I remember us all going in the room to smoke before we leave into my room, the master bedroom. And so I was like, oh, you look so good, Potato. Like, you look so good. And she was like, yeah, we kind of are matching. We kind of look similar. So I'm like geeked, because I'm like, I love to like dress up with my friends and be cohesive. I like when we go out looking like we're in some type of like pop star group. You feel me? Me and my friends used to do that when we were back in Gwinnett, like my best friends at the time. You know what I'm saying? So like, I remember we went to the Chance the Rapper concert, and we waited backstage. We waited in the concert, the venue or whatever. And then one of the guys was like, yo, y'all should really start a group, because y'all look like a group, but you guys got to leave. It was so funny. I remember that time, But anyway, so it's like, we used to love doing that shit. So like, I'm like, okay, bad. Like, okay, like, I didn't even think that, like, I didn't even peep that she low-key did look like me. But now that I come to realize, I feel like she thought that I was trying to be shady. Like, oh, you look cute. Like, because when somebody's already shady and they're weird, they're gonna perceive everything that you do to be that, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I was like, I feel like a lot of the things that she even did at that time were projections of what she's probably experienced in the past with other women before, so, but this is me also learning and gaining compassion for her, and realizing that, she's a reflection of me and I'm a reflection of her, so I can see myself being these ways. You feel me? So anyway, but at the time I was like geeked. I'm like, yo, okay, bet. Like, yes, you do look like me. Yes, twin. Like, you feel me? So, we go to the party, and I remember us walking up to the party, and I felt like she was like, I was talking a lot. Like, I felt like I was talking, because I remember she was like, yeah. Like, it was just very like, I'm not really listening to you type shit, like, she was such a mean girl. Like, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like, she was not this persona that she like gives off now as like very sisterly and like fun, or maybe she just didn't like me. She like just didn't like me, which is just so odd to me. Like, it was just so odd to me, because like, one moment you're this way and the next moment you're like, what is it about me that you didn't like? You feel me? And it was never really truly vocalized or anything, you know what I'm saying? But it was just so weird. Like, everything was so weird. And so, I remember Trip, he always used to like open his arms out, when people come, and I just remember giving him a hug. And then at the party, like, we were there was this drink, I guess brother and what's the name Potato had. And so they were drinking it, and then she was like, you want some? And I was like, yeah. And I took like a little shot, and then I this is what I messed up with. Well, I don't know if I messed up, but I gave it to my boyfriend to take a drink. But sometimes he just doesn't have a sense of like, I don't know, but the drink was already done. The drink was already gone down, but like, I think he just didn't have, I don't know if he was on a perk that night or some shit, but like, he just drank, you know what I'm saying? Then when we handed it back to her, she looked at the bottle and she was like, and then she looked back at her boyfriend and was like, basically like, so I don't, now that I think about it, I don't know, because I didn't know what the intentions behind any of her movements were. Like, I don't know if she purposely gave it to me when it was low, because she knew both me and Music were gonna take a sip, and then she can act as if I just drank all the liquor or some shit. Like, I took one fucking gulp of that shit, and my nigga, he was the one who drank more of it. But it's like, I don't fucking know. It was just weird. Like, it was just, I'm telling you, there's just so many different weird fucking moments, bro. Like, so fucking weird, you know what I'm saying? So that was that night. Tell me why there was one night, and this is when shit really started to change, and the dynamic of the house, like, it was pretty much at the end. You feel me? Like, this shit was done, because this shit was really at the end. You dig? One night I came in there, I would meet Music had rolled up a blunt for me and him, so we were smoking the joint or whatever. Then I came in their room, mind you, in my apartment, that I was let them staying at. I came in their room. And because they're, we would always do that. Like, we would come in each other's room and shit like that, blah, blah, blah. So I came in there, you know what I'm saying? And, I came in there to smoke with them. Like, I was going to share with them. That's what I was going to do. So I was going to share them. So I'm sitting here, but remember, I have my social anxiety. So I'm like, I write in my journal a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I was smoking, I always used to write. So like, I was writing in my journal, and I remember passing them the blunt. Tell me why these motherfuckers kept smoking my blunt. Like, they just kept smoking it, and they thought that I didn't peep, because then when they handed it back to me, but this is me too. Like, what I wanted to do was kick them out that fucking night. I felt so disrespected, but like, that's why, but I was so like, I didn't react so quickly. I like peeped it, and I went to go talk to my nigga, and I was like, I'm about to go the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? He's telling me no, because he want to try to protect his relationship with his brother. You feel me? But I was heated. What pissed me off was that I remember brother randomly saying, I love my girlfriend. And then she was like, I love my boyfriend. Like, mind you, the same people that be fucking tussling each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, they sitting here being weird as fuck, smoking my blunt, and like, you think I'm not noticing because I'm just journaling, y'all going back and forth, because I mean, they weren't smoking because they didn't have nothing. We was all broke, so it was like, if we had weed, we would share with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. And then there was a lot of times where I would go pick them up from work, and like, I would make sure that Potato has something to eat every single day, even if it was like, we would come up with like I would just eat a fucking breakfast sandwich and make it. But I always anytime I made something for me, I would make it for her. There would be times we would come home, they would ask us to take them to Wendy's. not one time did they offer us, do y'all want like a 4 for 4? This is when 4 for 4 just came out too. Remember when 4 for 4 just came out? Like, this is when 4 for 4 just came out. And so, like, they will literally just be eating Wendy's, and me and What's Music had nothing to eat all day. Like, and that's why I was also really skinny. Like, we weren't eating. Like, so anyway, it was just crazy. So it was just a lot of weird ass shit that happened, okay? So then that happened, and I was gonna kick him out. Boyfriend said no, da 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 da. So then it ended up that Music lost his job, okay? He lost his job, and then money became super, super tight. And at the time, I still couldn't find work. I don't know what was happening, but I can acknowledge that, like, I wasn't as diligent because, mind you, all this time prior, we were homeless. So when I got into a place of being into a place, I just wanted to just focus on getting my shit together and like organizing my things, doing laundry. But still, I was naive because at the end of the day, bitch, you need to pay for rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just banking on his job because he was making the money that was covering things, which was dumb as hell to do. But both of us didn't really be as diligent with trying to find a position, or me and her would just be sitting up at the house chilling. You feel me? Like, I'll be in my room, she'd be in her room. You know what I'm saying? We'd be chilling. So we would still feed them whenever I could feed them or whatever. This one day, me and me and me and brother got into a horrible fight. Like, it was a really, really bad fight. Because I think me and my boyfriend got into a fight, and when I drove them to work this is before he lost a job. Before I took them to work, and I was swerving through the cars. I used to drive like a maniac sometimes, like, especially when I was angry. I was swerving to the cars, and then one time, like, one of the cars hit me at the back or whatever. Like, I thought I had it, and I didn't have it, and he went the fuck off on me. But that actually wasn't the fight that broke us all up, because I remember that night coming home, and we both apologized to each other. You know what I'm saying? And, like, brother was not a real mushy type of person. He's not a mushy type of person. So for him to even say he's sorry, I know that was really big of him. And, like, anyway, so that was that night. But then we had another fight. I forgot what happened. And I think it was just me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So me and my boyfriend had a huge fight. It was terrible. It was so disgusting. Like, it was physical before they got there. And then I think what's her name was gone with her mom and her grandma the whole day. She was gone with her mom and her grandma the whole day. And literally the fight was so bad that I was coming in and out of the house. And then brother kept locking the door. So me and him used to have, like, issues here and there. Like, even though I loved him, it was like we used to have little issues. You know what I'm saying? Because he kept locking the door. When I was coming, like, because I would go back in and out of the house. But this is literally that night. My boyfriend at the time was so toxic. Like, he would, like, get out the car while I'm driving, type shit. Like, just do too much crazy ass shit for me to chase him, and, like, and I'm not doing all that shit, and it just was so toxic. Like, that whole shit was just so toxic. But anyway, but it was also toxic of me to keep leaving, coming back, then coming back in. But he would lock the door, and I remember I went the fuck off on him. I was like, don't fucking touch these fucking door, like, like, this is my fucking apartment, my name's on this house, don't fucking lock the door. Like, because I felt like it was disrespectful. Like, I'm coming back and forth, why you keep locking the door? Like, you're playing with me, bro. Like, you're playing with me. So that was the whole thing. And so from that fight, basically, he decided to leave whenever. Mind you, we had to pay rent in 2 weeks. That was coming. Rent was due in 2 weeks. You feel me? So these motherfuckers left right before rent was fucking due. Okay? Like, I remember his other friend came to pick him up because his friend had got an apartment. It was just so crazy because, like, we let them stay with us when they had nowhere, and then now they're starting to get this, be cooler and closer to one of their other friends. I think it was Miko or something. They had got an apartment, and so they, like, fucking got an apartment or whatever, and, like, then now they're living at that at their house or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't even pay rent. So, then Sism loses his job. So it's like we're just in this predicament where we don't even have the backing of their money for rent, and we don't have any money because I don't have a job and Sism lost his job. So now this is when shit just gets terrible. Like the lights get cut off, the electricity gets cut off, all the food we had spoiled. They ended up leaving, and it was just a lot. It was a fucking lot. So basically, all that shit happened, and I remember. So one little night, one of the nights right after they left, we used to go to this place in Stone Mountain, the Plug's house, which was their friends, which is their brother's house. It was like their Plug's house, and one of the we was there, and apparently Miko, um, Potato, and Soda and brother pulled up at the house, and at this time I didn't really know that things were like weird between me and Shorty, because as a woman I would have been like, and that's the thing, she never called me to be like, she just moved out with him. She never was like, girl, what happened? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. I think it was like she was ready to have this problem with me and for it to be okay or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So and it's crazy because even brother, he's apologized for that whole time. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about that. We're really cool now. You know what I'm saying? We're still family and everything. So it's just so crazy that happened. But so anyway, she basically we were there, she came there, and I was trying to tell her her nails were broken. Her nails were I don't know, I was trying to tell her that I have a nail, Jasmine, she does nails, so her nails were messed up or some shit, and I was like, oh, my friend does nails. Then she ignored me, and I was like, did you hear me? I said my friend, she does nails if you need help. She was like, oh, okay. It was just the whole energy was super fucking weird. It was just so fucking. And I should have known that though. Why would I even try to engage with them after they just left the house and shit like that? But I don't know. I'm just naive like that, I guess. But it was just weird. And I said, can you give back the key to? And I said it to brother, and he was like, yeah, I got you. Da-da-da-da. So time passed, blah blah. We ended up being evicted from that fucking place because we couldn't afford. I had to get a storage, and we ended up moving to Florida. Now, mind you, after that, she posted her pictures from her birthday. She posted her pictures from her birthday, and she cropped me out of the photo. She had her other posse. She cropped me out of the photo, and she was tagging all these hashtags. I don't fuck with you. I don't talk. I don't fuck with you. No new friends, all this shit. That's when those songs first came out and shit like that. So it's like, okay, bet. Now I see, because this was after the night when she was ignoring me. So I was like, okay, bet. So now I feel it. You trying to be weird. You feel the type of way. You didn't even come to me as a woman. What happened? What went down? You feel me? You don't know that I was the only girl in that house, and the niggas were treating me mad weird and locking the door on me in my own fucking apartment. You feel me? Just doing fucking weird ass shit. And it's Sism, I keep saying his name, Music was fucking super toxic. We both were really toxic, but it was just so much weird ass shit that was going on, that was playing out, and niggas is gonna stay with niggas, and it was just crazy. So as a woman, I didn't even feel protected because she never even came to me yo, what the fuck, what happened? She just left, and I think she just wanted, for some reason, I think she liked the friction between her and brother. I don't know if there's some weird thing where she felt like brother liked me, or had an attraction for me or whatever. But it's there was no other energies. You feel me? There was no other energies, and so it's just weird to me that she just felt it made her feel good that when we had a fight. Because I remember coming to her that day that brother yelled at me in the car, you need to, watch where you fucking go. You can't fucking like be so angry. We like our lives are at stake and like, which is true, you know, because I was like swerving and doing the crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he went off on me, but he felt bad for yelling at me because he understood that the frustrations that I was in. You know what I'm saying? And but I remember coming back home and I was like, "Do you think that brother's really mad at me?" And she was like, "Yeah, he really is." Like it was so weird. It was like weird. But anyway. So time passed and we couldn't stay at that place anymore. So we ended up moving to Florida. Okay. So 2018, 2019, like I was kind of off grid. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't following Brother. I wasn't following Potato. I didn't know anything about anything. Okay. So, you know, and then, you know, me and what's the name ended up breaking up in 2019. And because we moved to Florida, then we moved back to Georgia, and we ended up breaking up, and like just a whole bunch of shit happened. Basically, a whole bunch of life happened, which I'm not going into right now. So fast forward to 2020, COVID happens, and I basically ended up moving with my mom. This was a very self-reflective place because like I was alone at this point, and like, you know, just trying to navigate my life. And then I was on social media, and then in a post I saw Potato. Like, remember, I hadn't seen her since like 2018. You feel me? Like I hadn't seen her really 2018. You know what I'm saying? Like I hadn't seen her since the apartment. We left the apartment. I hadn't seen her. I unfollowed her that time when she did that post. You know, like mass shit was weird, so I just unfollowed her. And so I saw in a post that she did the Nicki Minaj Megatron challenge and that she won. And so Nicki Minaj is one of her favorite artists, right? And so all of the things that we went through, it just went out of like my head because I was just wanting to congratulate her, like, and talk to her and like commend her, like, girl, look at this, like, look at where you're at, like, look at these things that you're doing. I didn't even know anything that was going on with her at all because I stopped that, and I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to like, can we talk about the time that we experienced? You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, it was just a time that I feel like we both didn't even deserve because we were just in toxic places internally and mentally. She wanted so bad to be the artist that she is now that everything needed to be that and aligned to that. And I was just in a toxic relationship and just tired of the fucking turmoil and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, all of that, you feel me? So, you know, I sent her a message. And I was like, hey, I saw that you did the Megatron challenge for Nicki Minaj and that you won. I'm so freaking proud of you. Mind you, this is the same girl I stayed up countless hours of the night listening to all her projects while she's crying and saying she's not good enough. I'm like, no, I'm not about to let you do that. I'm not having that. Like, no, stop that shit. Because you are like everything. Like, you're very talented. So I'm just wanting to congratulate her and also talk about our time. She literally ignores me. Like, she ignores me. And so, and this is where I can take accountability because it did not sit well with me. It did not sit well with me because I think not only, but she was a culprit of me being over being dealt with in that manner, being dismissed and being, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't remember, this is 2020. I'm a whole different person now. Like, I've been through so much, you know what I'm saying? Self-reflective. So I'm like, I'm at this place where I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this shit no more. Nobody's gonna disrespect me any fucking more. Like, you're not gonna disrespect me, bro. Like, if I send you a message, you respond, especially if I was a part of you. I let you live with me when you could have left. You could have stayed with your boyfriend, but you wanted to be with your nigga. You wanted to be over where we was at. I let you live with me, bro. Like, I took you to your rehearsals. I stayed up talking to you hours, listening to your stories. Like, you're gonna respond back to me, bro. Like, that made me feel a type of fucking way. Okay, so basically, like, because of this, and then this was also it was not just her. During 2020 was a whole thing because, like, I came into realization of, like, like I said, I was over all the things that I dealt with my peers in my life, my friends. Like, I was basically outing all the different people and experiences that that have happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking about all the situations with old friends and everything. Like, so, I always used Twitter as like a diary of mine. My back hurts a little bit. I always used Twitter as like a diary of mine, and a lot of people, even my ex girlfriend, used to hate that shit. Because I'm very, vocal about my experiences. But I also like that. That's why I have this channel, Moreniké Speaks. I feel like this is a way for me to truly um, be transparent and showcase my life as a testimony that it is, because it is a testimony. Everything that I experience in my life can be relatable, or maybe it may inspire somebody who's experiencing the same things. And so I've always been very transparent within my journey. But I talked about a whole bunch of shit, and like, even that year I lost like all of my old friends because I was saying all of the shit that I dealt with them and how I perceived everything, and it was like me talking shit on Twitter. That's what they derived it to. But it's really, I don't want to take accountability. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, I could have done things better. I could have, if I truly felt such a way, but I just didn't. I didn't have that space because we weren't cool. It wasn't like all of me and my friends were like super cool. I just spoke on Twitter. I spoke about how I felt. Like, people felt like maybe I should have privately told them these things and like da da da. Now, I wasn't saying like there, except for one incident that I did like tell a secret from my best friend, my old best friend, and that's one of the biggest regrets of my life. Like, I would have never done that, but I was just so angry at her and how she treated me. Like, I was so angry at how she was trying to, even during that time, it was like everybody wanted to save face. They wanted to save face so much that they kept on, like, they tried to double down on the shit that they were saying about me. You know what I'm saying? It was just like me against all of my old peers. It was just weird. It was just a weird time for me, but I was very vocal about my experiences on Twitter. So, she ignored me. Guess what the fuck I did? You know what I'm saying? I went on fucking Twitter and I talked about the whole thing, the whole story about when I met her and all the different things. Cause like, it was like, at this time she was basically painting the picture that she's a girl's girl and sister's friend. And she's a sister. And like, like, but it's like, I didn't have that experience with you. Like, I didn't have that experience with you. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Oh my fucking God. I forgot to tell you a huge fucking factor. Sorry. So remember that night I told you about how we wore the same outfit or whatever, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you do look alike." The next morning, we the boys, I take the boys to work. We come back home. We decide to go to the Cabs Farmers Market. Okay, so she gets dressed and she's wearing like this like light blue butterfly shirts, and then some jeans with flares. You know what I'm saying? So I had something similar to where I wore like these baggy pants, these baggy like pants and like this chiffon top that was like, I don't, in the same kind of light blue color pattern. And I only felt comfortable in wearing that because we were going out. Like, remember I told you, like, I thought, she liked the fact that we were kind of connected in the space of like dressing, we were cohesive rather. So I'm like, okay, this is my bitch. Like, we can be cohesive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, and it was just, and it was also like super easy to just do. It wasn't even really thought out. It was just like, I'm gonna wear this, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm gonna be cute too. Like, I'm gonna wear this. And it like was kind of cohesive. So then this bitch, we get in the car, and this is when Playboy Cardi first came out, okay? When Woke Up Like Me just came out. So then we get in the car, and she's like, there's no music playing. And this girl literally puts on her phone, she's taking a video of her. She was like, woke up to bitches looking like me, look. But I didn't say anything, and this is where the problem is. I never said anything, because like, I'm like, I was so afraid of saying things because of, remember I said I'm traumatized. Like, if I say something, are you going to make me feel crazy for saying this? Because like, why do I feel what you just said was mad weird? Like, are you thinking that I'm copying you? Are we not in spaces of being friends? Like, it was just weird. Because like, why would you say, yeah, we kind of look alike? Da, da, da. And maybe I'm just so thrilled or some shit. And I just thought we were cool. And I thought, maybe, am I really off for just thinking that everything was Gucci? And am I off, or am I to what am I? You know what I'm saying? What does that make me? That I thought I was comfortable enough to like be cohesive in our outfits. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and then it's like that's what I said. She was just so like weird and bitter and like not fun at all. Like it was we didn't have fun like girl friend. Like I feel like she was because maybe she was miserable in her own life too because she was with a toxic boyfriend. I don't know, but it was just like that's why I wanted to talk about the time because I feel like even the person that you express and you showcase to the world now was not the person that I experienced in person. So it's like, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So even we pulled up at the DeKalb Farmers Market, and this was my first time ever being there. And I'm like, it looks like an amusement. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then she's like, it's a farmers market. I mean, like, yes, it's a farmer's market, but it looks really cool. It looks like this fucking big ass fucking place like I've never been before. Like, it's just like I felt like I couldn't be my personality. You know what I'm saying? Which has affected me even further because maybe I'm too silly, maybe I'm too goofy. She used to even say that. Like, she made a whole rap called Mean Girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a mean ass bitch. Give a fuck if you like me. Like I'm meaner than Regina. Like that was her whole aesthetic, like mean girl, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? And this is after all this shit, you know what I'm saying? And there were parts of me that thought that like some of the raps that she would make, even I inspired those raps, you know what I'm saying? Like I would listen back to them and I'm like, yo, like this feels very weird because I feel connected to like you saying this to me or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that, but it was just very direct. Like there were certain direct things that I felt like, I don't know. It just felt very weird. Anyway, so that happened. So fast forward back to what I'm saying about, me just basically being Twitter and explaining all of this situation on Twitter or whatever. So then, literally like I'm talking, basically expressing myself, you know what I'm saying? She basically gets on Twitter and she finally, I guess, reads it and then she posts her. Now at this point, she got fans now. She got fans and like, she's making money from her performances and shit. Like, she Nicki Minaj done tweeted her, and messaged her and gave her the alley oop. That's what she says. You feel me? So then she posts on Twitter on her fans and she was like, y'all, look at this shit. Basically like making fun of my tweets and like making fun of everything that I said. And like a dummy, I didn't say anything because and that's why I say I don't know if this is part of autism, but I was like, I didn't even necessarily want the attention from her fans and her peers or anything like that. I just wanted to be heard because she wasn't responding to me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, am I crazy for feeling this way? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, she was like, yo, look at this shit. And like laughing at my tweets and like laughing at me. And it was like, she was laughing at because I told every single part of the story, even from the beginning of Wonder Root, when I said I was enamored by this person. She looked like a star. And I think that was one of the quotes that she quoted. It was like, look at this shit. Like, how could you even take a moment of me being very vulnerable and admirable of you and then like make fun of that? Like, it was just so crazy. And from that point on, like this is where like the bitterness came from. I became bitter and I became upset and I couldn't even enjoy her music like I wanted to enjoy her music. Like I never listened to her music. To this day, I don't listen to her. And it's so crazy because I have another, like, I want to talk about another person a part of this video. And it's like, this video is so fucking long already. Fucking long, bro. Like, I'm going to have to make this a part two, like part one and part two, so, because it's just too fucking long. So I'm just going to do part one, part two. And that's just what it is. But let me finish up with Potato. So, like I said, I tried to avoid this, but I wanted to get for you to have a clear perspective. And that's why I talk about detailed things. You feel me? So anyway, basically from that time, I became super bitter. Maybe I can just finish it all up. I just became very bitter. And, like just upset. And I think, this is where like I became obsessed with justification. I didn't become obsessed with her, but I became obsessed with like not letting this be the reality. Like, you're not about to sit here and play me like I'm just delusional and I just thought all of these things and you're out here telling people that you're sisters and like sister love and sister this and like family and I'm a girl's girl and shit like that. And I had this total different experience. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit blew me. You know what I'm saying? And I had already had, I'm not gonna lie, I already had some fake pages because of like, you know, me and my ex-girlfriend and some shit, you know, when you got your, you know, I'm not the only one who has a fucking fake page or whatever. My fuck so, you know, like I just became super bitter and like was just super hurt and like I would use my fake pages to go to her page because she blocked me. She blocked me from my socials, like from on Twitter and Instagram, you know, and it just, you know, like so it's like that's another thing with blocking culture. It's like even though people deserve to have boundaries and things like that, it also I feel like it's such a puts a deficit in our human interaction because it's like people can't, they don't take accountability, they don't do anything that is required for their growth. They're just like, nope, I don't have to deal with you. Block, done. You feel me? And it's like that's just not healthy to me. But that's what it was, and she blocked me, and so you know there will be times where like she would be saying things, and then that this is where I have to look at me because it's like at this point, like this shouldn't even affect me in the way that it has affected me so much. But it did though, because you know, alongside all of this, and I'm trying to like get through because I know I've talked a lot, you know, but alongside all of this, like I've realized, you know, the potential of my talents and my own abilities. And, you know, initially, you know, my thought is that you came into my life to show me, like God put you in my life to show me possibility, like you're a reflection of me. And so if I work hard and become more elevated and skilled, I could potentially be able to do the things that you're able to accomplish because you know you went to performing arts school and different things like that and da d and da do. You know what I'm saying? So like in my life, I'm like, yo, this is God aligning me, right? But then it wasn't alignment because it was weird energy and you treated me weird. I feel weird about it, and now I'm this like obsessed girl who wants to do what she's doing, and that's what I felt like. You know what I'm saying? Which put me in the conundrum of being even more obsessed with her acknowledging like no, like you were this weird ass person to me, and this is what I experienced. Period. This is what I experienced. Period. And it's like I became obsessed with her acknowledging that, and no matter what I would say, like it just and at the end of the day it's like it's not going to be received because now I'm going to different pages to still reach out to her, you feel me, like and reach out to her, and it's just so it's embarrassing, it's sad, it's like it's just sad because I wanted so bad for her not to be the person that she was and who she was at the time. And it's like because it's just imagine like seeing somebody super silly and love everybody and like being super quirky, and I did not experience not one of those moments. And we lived together for about 2 or 3 months, not even just at the fucking apartment but also before, prior, when we were at the hotel. I don't remember seeing any sides of that fun, silly, goofy girl. So like, why can't you acknowledge who you were during this time with me? You feel me? And it just made me crazy. And so from that, but one thing I've never done is taken away her talent. I'm sure like during the anger of myself, I said some off the wall shit, you know what I'm saying, about like you're gonna, sorry, my headphones, my little speaker was doing some weird shit. You're gonna, you know, acknowledge this one day and just talking shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I like the bitter, but I was never ever a hater of her. I've always condemned her as far as her talent. I may not like her as a person, and I may not understand her actions as a person, but I can never disregard the talent that she bestowed, like that God bestowed upon her. Period. I always was in love with that. You feel me? And I've always said that, even during me being upset and saying shit on Twitter. I always told about that. So, you know, it's just so crazy because that was that. Okay. So now we're about to move into the story where like Gator comes in. Okay. So basically, that was 2020. I'm talking all that, telling everything, and she's like, "Look at this shit, blah blah blah." Da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? So basically, like now, I'm already, mind you, I've dealt with so much with life, being physically homeless, and people in my relationships, and then my boy. Okay, guys, I really, really, really didn't intend for this video to be so freaking long, but I do want to be able to leave space to get into Gator. If you have been watching this video, I truly, truly appreciate you. I thank you for your patience with me and expressing all of this. But I am going to have to make this into a part 3. And I apologize for the video being so long. I really just wanted to be thorough, just so it could be a clear perspective, and everybody watching this video can gain their own perspective to what happened. And giving perspective means giving detail. So if you made it to the end of this video, I really, 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 really appreciate you. I appreciate you for your patience, and please stay tuned to watch episode 3. It's only like maybe 40 more minutes left. So I appreciate you for watching this video.